Welcome to the Metal Temple interview. I welcome Mira from Deadscape, Bulgarian melodic death metal band. It is really a pleasure to have you here, Mira, and you are the vocalist of the band. And I'm really grateful to perform an interview with you. And first of all, I hope all your family is okay, all your bandmates are fine, given that we have still a pandemic. And everything went well during this difficult period for us all, and you went through safely through it.
Well, yeah, at the moment everybody is healthy, but unfortunately, I think everybody from the band went through the virus at some point.
Ah, okay.
So, yeah, we went through that. Thankfully, it was pretty mild for all of us. So no complications, no hospital time and everything. So yeah, we're thankful for that. We passed it. We have the antibodies and everything. And yeah.
Yeah, so how was actually the pandemic in Bulgaria?
At first, well, in March 2020, it was like a matter of 2 or 3 days until everything got completely closed. I remember one day our company was saying that no, we're not going into home office, it's not that scary. 2 days later we went to the office in the morning, and our boss told us just get your computers and go home. So yeah, that was on a small scale, I mean, in my company, but in general in the whole country it was the same. So yeah, at first people were, let's say, scared. But then as everything, they decided to go to protest because well, it's not secret that our country is a bit corrupted. So not surprising, many people were left out of their jobs. They didn't get support from the government, so they weren't happy, and everything just went downhill from there. Yeah. But in general, I think, well, I can say for sure, because we lived in our band bubble, as we call it, because during the pandemic, we still managed to gather and play as a band. But yeah, but most of the time it was just us five, and we didn't meet other people. And yeah, so it was really like a bubble. We didn't get to experience what's it like for other people. And yeah, that was lucky for us, because as I know, I have friends in other bands in other countries. It was scarier with them because many people weren't allowed to go outside, but we could go and have rehearsals, at least that. So
right, I think the same was here in Germany. Yeah, I'm now in the home office for 2 years. And I love it. So I couldn't imagine that before, but now I love it. And I think it was very similar, whole situation in Germany. Everything was closed. How did the pandemic affect Deadscape as a band?
It's hard to say. As I said, we all went through the virus, but on the other hand, we had a lot of time to be in home office, so that we're living in the biggest city in Bulgaria, so usually commuting to work takes a lot of time. So without having to go to work to the offices, we got more time to be at home to work. So that left us with more time to finish our music, because yeah, during 2020 we haven't finished the last 2 songs from our album, so we finished writing them. We recorded a demo with all the songs, so we wanted to be able to hear what we want to express, because when you're at rehearsal it sounds in a different way than when it's recorded. So we spent some time recording everything at our rehearsal room. I even got a new microphone by that time. Then our drummer and our guitarist, they mixed everything. And in August 2020, we managed to release a 4-piece demo with the first 4 songs that we have ever written for Deadscape. So that was interesting because people were taking it very well. And in 2021, we started recording the album. It was January when we started recording the drums. The guitars took the biggest part of recording. And I think it was around July and August when I finished the vocals. After that, we left everything to Dan Swano to mix and master. And since maybe it was September, we started building up the marketing campaign and started promoting the album, sending it to people to review, and preparing for the big date on the 14th of January. So I may say we were lucky. We had enough time to prepare our music, to record, to experiment a bit, and to be able to release the album the way we wanted to.
That sounds good. Deadscape is a relatively young band. Deadscape were formed in 2015,
yep.
I think. And I think the next years, one member after the other joined the band. I think you joined the band in 2018. I think you were the last piece of the puzzle, I think.
No. Our guitarist Ani came after me.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I think there was a guitarist before that, isn't it? She replaced, I think, one of the former guitarists.
Well, we had lots of changes in the rhythm guitar section. Yeah.
Okay.
So we had like I hope I don't miss anybody, but I think it was at least 4 or 5 guys before Ani.
Oh, okay. I see. But the lineup was then complete with Ani, the guitarist. I think she joined also shortly after you, and then you could actually start to write music as a band. You mentioned that already. The first demo was in 2020.
Yeah,
that was, I think, already when the pandemic was there. So did you have actually a chance to play the demo live?
Well, we have been going on concerts since I think it was October 2018. So we had at least 5 or 6 shows already before the pandemic hit.
Right.
So, well, I can't say we were pretty popular in the local scene already, but there were enough people to know about us. So at some point when the pandemic started, it was obvious that things won't go back to normal pretty soon. So many people started asking us, why don't you release something? We miss seeing your live and stuff like that. So we were like, yeah, we recorded the whole album as a demo. Why not release the first 4 songs that we ever written for the band, because to make it somehow symbolic, you know. And yeah, the release of the demo wasn't planned, actually. It was a spur of the moment thing, and we did it mostly for marketing purposes, to remind people that we're still here and we're actually working on something. And yeah, as for what you said before, that when Ani joined we could finish the songs, that's not quite right, because even before Ani came, when we were working with the previous guitarist, we were already writing songs. And for example, in the song "The Artist," we because, as I said, we had many guitarists. We have 2 different guitar solos there. One is by our lead guitarist Ivan, and the other is by the current rhythm guitarist. So we had this song with at least 4 different solo versions, because we wanted every guitarist to write their own. And I'm usually joking that when we're old and famous, and we may one day make an anniversary concert or something, and invite every previous musician and play the whole song with all the solos one after the other.
Right, I see. So then you have basically something like 10 guitarists on stage.
Well, not 10, but
you never know. You never know.
Well, for now, we like the we not only like, but the band members in the current lineup, we are all working really well. So I hope we will stay in that lineup for a long time, because it's really great working with other people that are now in.
How did it all start? What was the idea of setting up a melodic death metal band?
Well, I wasn't there in the beginning,
yeah.
but I've heard the stories. Basically, our guitarist Ivan, when he was still living in his home city, that's called Ruse, he wanted to make a melodic death metal project on his own. He was playing in another band called Fallen during that time, and as far as I know, he didn't feel enough. How to say it? Well, the path he wanted to follow with his music wasn't appropriate for his current band. So he decided to start a solo project. He, as far as I know, he even bought some instruments, started playing bass and so on, even keyboards. At some time, he has already met Alex, our bassist. They were becoming pretty good friends, and at some point they started talking about what music they want to do. Turns out they wanted to do the same, so Alex told him something like, well, we should definitely make music together. Years later, they both moved at some time to Sofia, Bulgaria. They met with our drummer Ivan Kolev. After that, they started looking for a second guitarist. During that time, they decided to change the name, because the first name of the project was Aesthetica Morti. They decided it's not that how to say it? It's not
catchy.
Easy to remember.
Yeah,
it's a mouthful. Yeah, so they decided to start thinking of a new name, and around March 2018, it was my time to show up. I met with Alex on social media, and one of the first things he told me was, want to join my band? Because I had a message saying extreme vocalist looking for a band. So yeah, that was his first message to me. Then we started talking about music. He learned that I'm interested in melodic death metal, and he was like, yeah, you will be the perfect fit. They called me to one rehearsal. There it turned out I knew the other guitarist, not Ivan, but the current guitarist. So yeah, we became friends pretty quickly, and the rest is history.
Talking about history, what about your own history? When did you start singing, and how did you come to metal?
Well, I was mostly introduced by the children of my parents' friends. So they were mostly boys several years bigger than me, and they were already deep into metal. So when we were gathered at home or seeing each other, they were like, listen to that song, it's so cool. And funny thing is, I was around 10 years old at the time, and I got I got into metal listening to stuff like gore grind.
Okay.
So, yeah, and brutal death metal and so on. And at some point, I was still 10 years old. One of the guys was like, let's make a band. And
Okay.
it was all a joke when I said I will be the vocalist. So yeah,
So
at the beginning.
Just to say that again, so you were, as a 10 years old, you started listening to grindcore and brutal death metal.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah, and by the time I was 12, I was in a black metal band. We even had, I think it was 3 different recordings. Later, we decided we don't want to do black metal anymore. And since then, I've been joining many different projects. I've been in a folk metal band, death metal, melodic death metal, black metal again, several times metalcore, and I don't know, maybe I feel most at home with Deadscape now. I mean, all the other bands gave me something and I really enjoyed my time there, but I feel most at home with Deadscape. The creative process and the ideas flowing and everything, it's just my place.
And you have to sing more in a melodic death metal band compared to, say, traditional death metal bands or even grindcore bands. So probably you have more lyrics to sing, isn't it?
Well, I've always been a fan of music that has lots of text.
Right. Okay.
So even before, when I was in other bands, I strived to write more text because how to say it, I'm really one of those vocalists who like having a job on stage. Like when there is too much instrumental, I just don't feel well. So yeah.
I see. Well, I guess as a vocalist, you probably have to be at center stage, I guess. Otherwise, it wouldn't work, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. Actually, at the beginning of 2020, just the pandemic has started. I did an interview with Thomas Kumke from Wolfheart, and it was something that he said that really struck a chord. He said that, I paraphrase, I can't do the citation correctly, but he said something like, as a vocalist, you have to keep yourself healthy and everything, just because when you go on stage, if a guitarist mixes up a chord or something, the general public won't hear that in the whole mix of things. But if a vocalist doesn't sound well, the people will be like, that band sucks or something like that, you know. So yeah, not only center stage, but center of attention in any way. It's hard being a vocalist, actually.
Yeah. I know vocalists who would not even enter a pub where there is a little bit of smoke. You do growling.
Yeah.
Obviously, well, when you came on as a 10 years old with grindcore and brutal death metal, so there was no other way than to learn growling. So when did you start growling?
Well, since the beginning.
Since the beginning.
But, yes. Many people are usually asking me who is my favorite female vocalist or something, and they're really shocked when I say I don't like female vocals.
Okay, good.
Yeah, so basically when I started out, people like Sabina Klassen from Holy Moses and Angelo from Arch Enemy weren't that famous. Mm-hmm. So everything I had during that time were big bearded, long-haired men who were with low voices and everything. And usually I'm one of those people that like a lot of low tones in music in general. So yeah, I was naturally drawn to all that. And one day I discovered that there are other women doing that, the extreme vocal thing. And I was like, that doesn't sound right. It's light, it's higher, it's just not right. So yeah, basically I'm even to this day I'm trying to do more low vocals. It's easier on my physique and it's more pleasant to my ears.
Well, I think female growling vocal business has exploded over the last, say, 12 years or so, yeah? So when I look back at 2010, there were not that many around, but in the meantime, so there are so many and so many bands. Did you have growling vocal courses? How did you learn it all? Did you teach yourself, or how is it?
It was all only me doing the roar sound at my at my room. Mm-hmm. And sometimes, especially when I was younger, it was at the price of my voice. There were many instances when I couldn't even speak for several days after rehearsing. So yeah, but on the other hand, that taught me something else about my voice and my physical capabilities of vocals. And nowadays I know that, for example, I can still keep my voice even by jumping on stage or aggressively headbanging. So I can do vocals while doing all that physical stuff. So yeah, I'm not against vocal coaching. I'm even going to a vocal coach for my clean vocals. but for my growth, I've done everything myself from the ground up. So yeah, I may proudly say that my voice is completely mine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you use specific growling vocal techniques when you are singing for Deadscape?
I'm usually using the I missed the word, the false chord. Yeah,
the false chord.
yeah, I'm using false chord, and actually it might sound a bit funny, but I really am completely against fries cream.
Okay.
Yeah.
You do use both. You mentioned that you are growling, but you also use clean vocals. So what do you prefer?
Growling.
Growling.
Yeah, I have more experience with that, certainly. I started singing clean maybe about around the time when I joined Deadscape, so I'm pretty inexperienced there.
If I remember correctly from interviews with other vocalists, so I think when you do the false chord, it is better for the transition to the clean vocals, I think. I'm not sure, I'm not the expert, but...
Well, for me, yeah, you may say that. But most of the people prefer the fry scream because fry scream uses your vocal cords. Like it's more similar to talking, so it's easier to switch to singing, for example.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, but I don't know why. For me, naturally, fry scream comes harder. I mean, I can do it, but it's more of a conscious effort to switch to fry scream. My body automatically goes to false chords. So
right.
Yeah, maybe that's why it's easier for me. I don't know. I haven't spent much thought in that. To be honest, what I'm seeing in metal in general was that even 5 or 6 years ago, not that long ago, it was easier to just grab a microphone and start doing something and arrive somewhere vocally at some point.
Right.
And nowadays it's full of vocal coaches, and people can see that on YouTube. You just type a vocal coach reacts to something.
Yeah.
Yeah, so now many people are coming as vocal coaches from clean singing, and it's logical for them to teach fry scream because it's really not similar but closer to clean singing, and many people are learning that because it's easier to master it and to keep your voice and not ruin your speaking voice, to say so. On the other hand, false chord takes much more practice, and you can't just start doing it and be perfect with it. You have to train yourself a bit to be able to step up and do everything correctly. So yeah, that's my point of view. I mean, somebody may not agree with me, but for me, that's what's happening at the moment.
Right.
Yeah.
You are not only the Deadscape vocalist, you are also vocalist of Ophidian Clasp, a melodic a melodic metalcore band. Yeah. And a little bit deathcore as well. I think you also started in 2018 there. Tell us a little bit about that band.
During my bachelor's degree, I had a colleague that was in Ophidian Clasp. So I was one of their most closest fans. I was attending their concerts. We were having after parties after that together, and so on and so on. So we became really good friends. And in 2018, their lead guitarist left because he wanted to pursue a rap career, and their drummer left because he got married and didn't have time for music. So some changes were about to happen, and the current vocalist Ivu, he decided he will take up drums because he always wanted to do that. And the other people were like, but what we would do for vocals? And I was like, take me. So they did just that. and we started looking for a second guitarist, because that's an integral part of the sound of the band. We found one, but he was with us for several months. It wasn't a long partnership, to say so. And in 2020, when with Deadscape we released the 5-year anniversary video of Forsaken, we invited Ivo to join forces with us. So that's when the band, the Ophidian Clasp, were like, you two have great voices together. Let's just keep you both as vocalists and just find a guitarist and a drummer. And unfortunately, we're still seeking for the perfect fit for the band. And we're not actually active at all. I mean, we're not practicing, we're not writing new music.
Okay, yeah. That would have been my next question. I mean, today it's, I think, standard. Everyone has 2 or 3 or even more bands. Let's talk about the album, Of the Deepest Shade. That is the debut album, and it was released in January 2022. Yep. How was the response so far on the album from fans and press and everyone?
To be honest, it's absolutely positive, and that makes it a bit scary. But,
scary, okay.
Scary, yeah, because well, normally I think that if you don't do anything in life, then nobody will critique you. So naturally, when we started writing the album and recording and everything, we expected that there will be some people who won't like us, or find something to just be negative on the internet about. So we expected that, but to be honest, the response is quite positive. Like maybe even in some reviews, we have like high scores with maybe one sentence that's like, maybe you could have done this better, but otherwise the album is great, and so on and so on. And I say it's scary. The whole positive thing is scary because this means we set the bar too high, and with the next album we have to be even better.
Yes, that is the aim, isn't it? You want to be better and better from album to album, isn't it?
Yeah, and to be honest, we did that even with the demo and the album itself, because as I said, we wanted to record the demo just to see how we perform in studio setting, as if I can call it that. And from the demo to the real album, which was like maybe 6 or 7 months of time between both, we had a tremendous development, like in the good way, in the good. Yeah. So yeah, we're all perfectionists, and this might be something not so good in life in general, but with Deadscape it works. So
I think I was also very impressed by the album. I was particularly impressed, first of all, by the guitars and the interplay of both guitarists. I found that very impressive, and also the vocal contribution, diversity in rhythms, melodies as well, and the atmosphere. Sometimes I felt a little bit melancholic, but in general, actually, I felt it was an excellent album. So how would you describe the sound on the album?
The sound, well, it's a mix of everything, to say the least. I am not actively joining the writing part of the songs. Usually Alex and our guitarist Ivan work on the songs. Then Alex writes the text, the lyrics, and then they present the song to the band, and then we contribute, the other 3 people. Yeah. Well, yeah, as I said, it's a mix, and it's a mix of the things that both Alex and Ivan like. The bands, they, for example, were currently inspired when writing a particular song. Our guitarist Ivan, he gets inspired by a lot of classical music, for example, and progressive music. So I believe that can be heard in the album too. especially when we added the strings and the harp and everything and the piano. So yeah, basically we're 5 really different people with really different tastes in music, and I was a bit scared at the beginning that it could be a bad mixture of our taste. But it turns out everybody contributed in a good way, and we managed to put some things that really inspire us and we like into the sound of Deadscape, and to make it particularly ours. So that's a win, definitely. And yeah, that's it.
So I actually felt the album had a lot of diversity, as you mentioned. I think an album can never have too much diversity, so it's always good, I think. Deadscape offered the whole range of melodic death, I think. There are a couple of traditional melodic death metal songs in that, like The Artist or Stillborn.
Actually, our guitarist, when he was younger, a teenager, before he started Deadscape, he was really inspired by Michael Amott from from Arch Enemy. And actually, he was the reason that Ivan started playing the guitar.
Right, and I think you hear that on a couple of songs. There are also, we mentioned that the melancholic songs, almost doom-like songs, so Forsaken, for example, or Brightest Light. You mentioned already the songwriting, so basically all is done by Ivan and Alex. You said the band members then contribute, so how does that work? Do you contribute something to the lyrics, or is that all entirely done then at this point?
Most of the time, Alex writes the lyrics, and sometimes he feels stuck, or he needs some ideas or just an opinion, he asks me. So we sometimes work together on the lyrics, but most of the time it's his job. And because he's apart from doing the lyrics for the band, he's writing poetry, so he has a nice way of presenting things in written form. I have written myself some lyrics for bands before, but I'm just so far from his melancholic and poetic representation of things. And usually I come to add stuff to the songs when we already rehearse them. Like usually Alex imagines the vocals going in a certain way, but of course I have to adapt those things to my voice, to my breathing, to everything. So yeah, mostly, how to say it, the way the vocals are done is usually my job, not the lyrics themselves. So yeah.
I imagine it might be quite difficult for vocalists, because quite often the vocalists write the lyrics, but you have some serious competition when you have a poetryst in your band. So so how do you cope with that?
I don't see it as a competition. As I said, I feel that Alex's way of writing the lyrics for Deadscape fits the band perfectly, and I don't believe that I would have done it better. So I'm sticking to the things I do best, doing the vocals and doing the visual work. So
you do have vocal support on the album. Your bassist Alex, he provides the clean vocals, I think, for a couple of songs, Forsaken, for example. What is, from a vocalist point of view, what is the difference between having a partner with the vocals or performing alone? So is that a difference? Does it make things easier or more difficult? What are the challenges? How is it?
Well, the pros are that you have somebody to support you, and that brings much more depth to the song itself than having just one voice, be it clean or harsh or whatever. But when you have a combination of two voices, especially in our case with growls and cleans at the same time, that brings new layers to the song, new feels, new everything. And on the other hand, it's quite hard to bring it up to life in the way we want, because at rehearsals usually, well, now we have monitors in our ears, but before we were relying only on the speakers, and sometimes I couldn't hear him. He's for example, singing faster than me, and I have to run up after him to just because, as you said, in Forsaken we sing together, we sing the same lyrics there, so we have to sing at the same time, and usually we were missing each other. But since we did the demo and started using the in-ear technology, we started hearing everybody in the right way, and so we cleaned that up. So yeah, the major problem was synchronization, but the positive sides are much bigger. And yeah, and to be honest, in my previous band we were like 3 vocalists.
Oh,
so I'm kind of used to, and I really love when there is more than one voice. And yeah,
that's quite popular, isn't it? There are more and more bands with 2 or 3 or even more vocalists around. Yeah, so Amaranthi has 3, I think. Mayan has even, I don't know how many. That became a feature during the last 10 or 12 years. I mentioned already my favorite parts of the album: the guitars, the interplay of the guitars, the growling vocals. What are yours? What are your favorite things?
Well, to be honest, I love the whole album. Maybe I really can't choose. I love my vocals in Witherer, for example. It's my favorite song of the album. I also love Alex's clean vocals in Forsaken. I don't know. I love the part after the solos in The Artist, the playful one, the small riff. I don't know. I love a lot of things about that album. I can't choose a single one, seriously.
Interesting. Now you gave away already your favorite song. So mine are actually The Artist and From the Colorless Sky. Do you have more than one, or does it change, or how is that?
Usually it became something like an anecdote in the band, but when the guys have finished writing a song and they play it for us for the first time, and I'm like, oh, that's my new favorite song. And that's with every written new song. So they're now I don't want to spoil a lot, but they started writing new music. So we have, I think, 1 ready and 2 more in the making. But the song that's ready, I heard it and I was like, okay, that's my new favorite song. But realistically speaking, at first I really loved when I started in the band, In Desolate Silence. Then when we finally got to the point to finish From the Colorless Skies, that was my favorite song. And since we have written The Shadow of the Clouds and Witherer, those were the 2 songs we finished just before recording the demo. So those 2 are my ultimate favorites since we wrote them up until this day.
Right. Deadscape worked together with Swedish death metal legend Dan Swanö.
Yep.
He mixed and mastered the album in his studio. How did that collaboration come together? So how did you contact him, or did he contact you, or how did it work? How came Deadscape with such a legend together, and how was it working with him?
Okay. First, when we decided we'll be doing the album, we had well, mostly Alex and Ivan had some ideas of people they wanted to work with on the mix and master. So naturally they just sent out emails. One was to Dan, one was to I don't remember the name of the studio, but they worked on Mors Principio Mest's last album. So yeah. And there was, I think, a 3rd studio, but I really don't remember the details. So they sent out the demo and they were like, well, we start recording an album. We want to work with you. What are your, what service can you provide? How can we arrange everything? And the first to answer was actually Dan. And he was really impressed with what we sent, even though the demo is far from perfect and everything. He was really impressed with what we sent him. He said that he can't work with us as a producer, meaning he won't start correcting the songs or wanting us to rewrite something, but he would be happy to work as a mixing and mastering engineer. So naturally that happened maybe around October or November of 2020, and by January 2021 we already started recording drums, and it was so under the, let's say, supervision of Dan, because we were always asking him, how do you want this recorded, what to do, because it's really important when working with a different engineer from the one that's recording you to know what in what way to transfer the files. And yeah, that really sped up the work. And I can't really say much about the technical part of stuff, because mostly our guitarist was speaking to Dan. But as a general, Dan was giving great directions about recording, about how to position even the microphones in the room for the drums, for example. Okay. It was a delight working with him. He was really helpful. And after that, when we finally sent him the files with the final recordings, he was, again, he was pretty fast working. Like every day he was sending us a song and he was asking for opinion if you wanted changes, if you wanted him to change something. So yeah, basically it's awesome. It was awesome. I mean, we would be happy to work with him again, because he did great job, and the way of working, it was just great.
Yeah, I can imagine. So let's change topic. Videos. You released 2 videos.
Actually 4, but 2 are with us playing in them.
Yeah, but officially the artist, and from the color, and I think most recently from the Colorless Skies, isn't it?
Yeah, last week.
Last week, yeah. How does the video process work at Deadscape? So say from the idea to the shoot, how does it work?
Well, in these 2 cases, so with the artist and from the Colorless Skies, well, how to say it? I don't know if you know, we haven't shared that much on interviews and stuff, but basically our album has some concept in it. There is a story behind the whole album, and at first we had a plan of releasing more videos. Yeah, but then the reality struck us, because we have to have money and time and everything to put it together. So we decided to explain the whole story in just 2 videos, the artist and from the Colorless Skies. Yeah, so basically since Alex wrote most of the lyrics for the band, and he found the thread that unites everything into the whole concept, he thought of the script for both videos. And we worked with a Bulgarian director that works with other bands and is pretty famous in in the scene, Boyan Karanfilov. So we contacted him. He has already heard about us at some concerts, so we already had each other's contacts, and he was really happy to work with us finally. We recorded, I think, because we have had some shootings on location, so we had 2 days in the mountains to shoot most of the parts of the artist. We had 2 or 3 more days to film the interaction between our our goddess and our human for both videos, and 2 days for the band shootings for both videos combined. 1 day for the artist, 1 day for the for the coverless guys. Yeah, so we already had everything scripted. The thing is, at the last moment, the whole we're about to shoot the band videos in. I mean, the scenes where the band plays. In the last moment, the whole closed due to they couldn't pay their rent for COVID reasons. So yeah, and we had to find something at the last moment. Literally, we found a place on Thursday, and we had to shoot on Saturday. So we weren't prepared much to change scenes, and we went to the new hall and didn't know what to expect actually. But otherwise, we had the story scripted, so we knew what we had to do in terms of explaining the story visually, and it was only left for us to just grab the instruments and dance a bit on the stage.
Interesting. Let's switch topic. Let's come back to you.
Okay.
I like talking about inspirations. What and who inspires you as a musician?
Hard question. Well, I like Mikhail from Dark Tranquility, Neil from Insomnium, of course, Thomas from Wolfheart, and Before the Dawn. I even grew up with Before the Dawn, and it was one of my most favorite bands ever. I also loved the band Norder. They disbanded a few years back, but to this day I still love them a lot. Alexei Sivonen from Medicated. A lot of vocalists.
A lot of vocalists.
Yeah.
How do they inspire you?
I don't know. It's complex. I mean, as I mentioned before, I really like lower voices. So that's one of the main things I like about Thomas, and the way he goes for mostly his work with Before the Dawn. They even got a new song last year, so I was more than happy. Yeah. For Mikhail, I like that our voices are pretty close. Yeah, so some songs, I don't want to brag or anything, but some songs of Dark Tranquility I can sing just super close to his voice. So when recorded, it doesn't really sound too different. Yeah. I don't know. I get inspired by lots of things, and for lots of reasons, like stage presence, way of writing music, way of controlling the breathing while singing. Are they good people to drink beer with? Are they friendly at concerts? So yeah, it's different for everybody. But yeah, maybe if I can say that, really being a friendly and a nice person is something that really draws me to some person, because I have met musicians for different bands that were acting like you know, the stars in the sky, like they're the best and everything. That's just not okay. I mean, people like you, and people pay to see you, and you can't be acting like sorry for the expression, but you can't be acting as an as an asshole in that case. Yeah, it's just not professional. So,
no, it's not professional, but you have those people in every situation in life. So that is unfortunately the truth. Okay, but now your top 3 metal vocalists. Let's put the order together. Mikhail, I guess, at 1.
No, Thomas at 1. Maybe Mikhail is 2nd, and 3rd one would be Alexei from Medicated.
Right.
Yeah.
And your top 3 metal albums?
Oh, that's hard. Okay. Let's try with N by Norder. Then comes I really love Tulimirski by Moonsoro.
Okay.
And third one, that's really hard. Maybe Of the Deepest Shade by Deadscape.
Maybe that one, Only at 3. Wow. Your favorite metal bands which you definitely want to see live?
Bands that I haven't seen and want to see, or if I want to see them.
Yeah, which you haven't seen and you want to see live.
Maybe Dark Tranquility. It sounds strange, but I haven't seen them. And the thing is, up until recently, like in the last 3 years, I didn't really like Dark Tranquility. I just, I haven't found the mood for them.
Right.
And yeah, 3 years ago, I was like, okay, I'll give them a try once again. So I did, and I was like, I have been so stupid all my life, missing all this. And yeah, basically, I haven't seen them live just because I haven't been listening to them when they were here in concerts or something. So yeah, Dark Tranquility, and I don't know what else. Most of the bands I listen and like, I have already seen. So
okay. Then maybe the next question is a better one. What are your top 3 favorite concerts ever, which you have seen?
Okay. Let's start with Architects, Stick to Your Guns, and Bury Tomorrow in Copenhagen in 2016, I think it was.
Right.
Yeah. Then, that's hard. I have seen Norder once in Helsinki, so that was maybe around 2008 or 9. Right. I don't remember. I'm too old for this. And maybe a more recent one. Okay, on the third place, I will put 2 concerts. One will be Insomnium in Vienna from 2019. Yeah, 2019. And I think it was 2018, Wolfheart and Nordgard in Berlin. So
okay. What I noticed, you mentioned Helsinki, you mentioned Vienna, you mentioned Berlin. What was the first city? What was your? Was it Copenhagen?
Yeah.
Okay, we will keep that in mind and come back to that later when I ask you about Bulgarian metal. But now I have another thing for you. Let's get personal. I ask you. No, I don't ask you. I draw 5 questions out of that hat here.
Okay.
I have 10 here. Well, it's not really questions. It's either that or that. Let's see what comes out here. First one is, it can be anything. So first of all, gym or sofa?
Gym.
Gym.
Yeah, I even have a training tomorrow. So
you have a training tomorrow. What do you train? What?
Weightlifting and just general gym stuff.
Right.
With a trainer and yeah.
Okay, I go to the gym tomorrow as well, so I also have my appointment. Let's look further here in the hat. What do I have here? Oh, Facebook or Instagram?
Neither.
Okay. What do you do with your social networking? How do you do it? Or do you do them a lot, or do you stay away from that, or how is it?
Unfortunately, I'm addicted to my phone, as most of the people my age. And as I said, neither, because I'm really trying for the past maybe 2 months already. I'm trying to limit my time on social media, because at some point during the end of 2021, I realized that I'm spending even 2 or 3 hours a day just scrolling, and it's just not the way I want to live my life. So I'm trying to limit everything. I even deleted both Facebook and Instagram apps from my phone. And if I want to scroll mindlessly while waiting for the bus, I'm not doing that. I'm reading instead or listening to a podcast or something. And if I want to go online for just scrolling mindlessly, I do it for 15 minutes on the computer. So
interesting.
Trying to combat addiction.
Interesting. Let's go further. Let's look what I have here. Oh, thriller or comedy?
Maybe comedy. Yeah.
What's your favorite television program? What's your favorite? Do you watch a lot or?
I really like horror, but
Okay.
in recent years, the quality of horror is like downsliding.
Yeah, yeah.
Too much quality, too little no, the other way around. Too much quantity, too little quality.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I think so too. So when I watch horror movies today, well, it's actually awful.
Yeah. Scandinavian horror is still kind of good.
Okay.
But yeah, in general, horror is just dying, in my opinion.
Okay. What comedy programs do you watch?
Well, recently I re-watched The Big Bang Theory.
Right.
Yeah, what else? Thinking of it, I haven't watched much comedy recently.
Maybe
Yeah.
something to consider. Let's see.
Yeah, maybe.
Let's see. What do I draw out of the head? Oh, sea or mountains? Holiday, sea or mountains? You have both in Bulgaria.
Yeah, maybe sea. I mean, sea wins with 51%, so
Okay.
it's a small difference.
Okay, you don't make the impression of lying on the beach and don't do anything, so you seem to be more the active type of person.
I don't really lie on the beach. Since I was little, I didn't really like lying on the beach. I usually go into the water, stay there for 2 hours until my lips become blue and I start shaking, being cold. And then I just go to the beach, grab a towel, dry myself up and go home. That's my going to the sea thing.
Right.
Yeah.
We should mention that there are beautiful beaches on the coast, on the Black Sea coast of Bulgaria, isn't it?
Oh, well, yes and no. Yes, because we still have some places that are really beautiful and worth seeing. No, because most of the beautiful places are already gone due to too much building hotels.
Okay.
So yeah.
That is, I think, a problem everywhere in the world. Okay, let's look here. What do I have here? Oh, haha, comes back to music. Angela Gosso or Alyssa Whiteglass?
Neither. I'm Team Johan. I'm Team Johan.
Okay, then I draw something else instead. Okay.
Okay.
Let's see. What is here? Oh, vinyl or MP3?
Well, technically, I know vinyl sounds better or something, but I don't really have a vinyl at home, so I can't. Yeah, I can't work with that sentence. Let's say MP3 because I'm listening mostly digitally these days, and
right.
Yeah.
Well, I am a CD collector, and even if I download things, I press them on CD, so I'm a CD collector. Actually,
yeah,
that
we
is...
have lots of CDs at home too, so but not that much vinyls.
That's really fun, isn't it? Shall we do another one?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, let's draw something else here. I do have only 10. So what do I have here? Oh, school. Mathematics or history?
History.
History.
Yeah.
I thought so.
My bachelor's degree is in engineering, but I'm more of an artist.
Okay, so if I would have asked you for physics, then things would have been different.
Not really.
What kind of engineering?
Furniture and interior design.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, the title of my bachelor was more on the design side, but turns out when I started studying, it's more of engineering. So
Right.
after 4 years of sorrow and pain, I became an engineer. And then I was like, screw that, I'm going for a master's in art.
Interesting, interesting. Shall we grab another one? I still have 2 left. Let's do the other one.
Let's do them.
Let's do them. What do I have? Pizza or pasta?
Pizza, because I make the best homemade pizza ever.
You make the best homemade pizza ever.
Yeah, with the dough and everything. I make it from scratch.
Okay, once we have the video on YouTube online and all the fans in Sofia watch that, you will on the next day there will be a long queue at your house. You are aware of that?
Yeah, good thing I haven't mentioned my address anywhere in public, so
right.
I'm kind of safe.
Right. I still have, okay, let's do the other one. What do I have here? Oh, dog or cat?
Cat. Actually, my cat is in the other room because he's really vocal.
Okay, so, I see. I see.
Yeah, but on the other hand, my parents had a dog since I was 12, maybe.
Okay.
So I've grown up with a dog, but for myself, I prefer taking care of a cat, like excellent. Because they take care of themselves more.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. They can do everything, manage everything by themselves, isn't it?
Mostly everything.
Mostly, yeah. So I have the last one here. Brother or sister?
Sister. I have one. So.
Okay. Let me guess. Your sister's in the other room because she would be too noisy. No.
No.
No. Okay.
She lives in a different neighborhood, so.
Interesting. That was really fun. Interesting. Let's switch the topic. Almost the last topic. Metal in Bulgaria. Bulgaria is not really on the metal landscape. So when you think in Europe metal, it's Scandinavia a lot, and Germany, for example. But Bulgaria is not so much on the metal map. How important is metal in Bulgaria?
Not much. I mean, the people that are already in the scene love what they're doing and they're doing it, but in general, metal is not mainstream in Bulgaria. And to be honest, there are many people that to this day think that being a metalhead is all about taking drugs and being drunk all the time.
Okay. Yeah.
And being stupid and dirty and everything. So you can imagine the thinking process of a normal person in Bulgaria.
I see. Yeah. You don't have. Well, you may have a couple of smaller festivals, but not really big festivals with international bands, isn't it?
Yep, true.
Yeah. What does it mean for a band like Deadscape? Is that an additional burden or is it an opportunity? What do you think?
I can't really say, because since the beginning of the band, we were always trying to make music to export, if I can put it that way. Because the current situation in Bulgarian metal scene is people are more interested, I mean, as musicians and as fans, people are more interested in metalcore, deathcore, slam, beatdown, and those type of modern metal music. So yeah. So when we started, we were absolutely aware that well, there are people liking melodic death metal, but there are not many bands, so it's hard to find bands to put concerts together. And usually the fans like something more than melodic death metal. So we had 1 or 2 instances where there was another concert of a metalcore band in the same day when we are having a concert, and the bigger part of the public was on the other concert. So yeah, well, maybe it's somehow of an opportunity, because as I said, there are not many melodic death metal bands, so people are kind of interested in what we can bring to the table. But on the other hand, that interest is not that widespread.
Right.
We have to prove ourselves more than, for example, a metalcore band, because even promoters know that metalcore bands get more people on concerts, so they are willing to prefer a metalcore band to us. So yeah, we're dealing with it.
Yeah, it's really interesting. And I noticed now, coming back what we talked about before, so all your concerts were somewhere, but not in Bulgaria. So there are not too many bands coming around in Bulgaria, isn't it?
Yes and no. Many bands are coming, but they're more of the old bands.
Okay.
Like, I don't know. For example, in several months, Halloween will be coming again.
Okay.
And yeah, they gather a lot of public from the older generation, like from the age of my father, for example,
right.
and people that haven't discovered new music for the past 20 years. So,
right, I see.
We have lots of bigger names coming here, but they're mostly the bands that gather public. Manowar were supposed to come this year too, for the 1000th time.
Yeah, but you know, Manowar, I think they planned their final world tour already for 5 years. But yeah, I discovered that as well, actually. So whenever the bands that are 30 plus years around, so they're always touring through Eastern Europe. And then you see another live album by Udo Dirkschneider in, I don't know.
He's coming too.
You see. Yeah, so I see what you mean. So the more modern bands, they do explore other areas than obviously.
But to be honest, many modern bands gather a lot of public, but just promoters are not that interested.
Yeah.
Like they always want more. For example, yesterday I was attending Rotting Christ. Last night, and it was more than 700 people in the concert venue, and everybody was having fun, and everybody was enjoying. And yeah, I haven't seen this venue that full for many years. I mean, apart from COVID. So on the other hand, in May, Ensiferum and Dark Tranquility are coming for their split headlining tour. We will also have Sonata Arctica later in the year, Lordi in October, I don't know what, Soen, Opeth. I mean, we will be having lots of bands this year. In the summer, we'll be having Slipknot.
Right.
Yeah, also Wolfheart, Amorphis. Yeah, so there are some, let's say, braver promoters. But the general picture is, yeah, the Udo and other bands that have been here for many times.
Okay.
And yeah.
You mentioned promoters. You are an independent band. Is that a challenge or is it a opportunity?
Again, both.
Both.
Yeah, some people are really open to working directly with us. Other people are like, you don't have an official manager, you don't have an official PR agency, so you're not a big enough band, so no need to work with you or something like that. We even had sent out several requests to labels. And to be honest, we didn't really ask for sponsorship or anything. We were just like, we're releasing our album, we're paying for everything, we just want your advertising, you know, your marketing. And most of them didn't even bother to respond. Right. We had 1 or 2 complete no's. So yeah, it's kind of hard. The thing is, several years ago, I worked with a smaller label, and I have some people that I know, we're still good friends, and I recently spoke with them, so hopefully the virus goes away And we will be able to make some, well, maybe not a tour, but at least several concerts in Europe. At first, we are aiming to play at least in the countries next to us, like Romania and Greece, because they have huge scenes. So it will be beneficial for us to play there. Maybe even Serbia, we'll see. And from then on, maybe Hungary, Germany, Scandinavia. So yeah, we'll see how that turns out.
Yeah, but you are actively looking for a label.
Well, at the moment, not so much. We were looking mostly around the release date of the album.
Okay.
Maybe we will continue searching. We haven't discussed it yet, but at this point, we are more concentrated on promoting the music and doing as much live shows as possible.
Yeah. So yeah, we are already in my almost last question. That are the future plans. So I think you do have a couple of shows in Bulgaria. And but you mentioned already you are looking for going to your neighboring countries. So what are the plans for the next few months? As many shows as possible?
Yeah, basically. For now, we have booked some shows. One was cancelled, not cancelled, but postponed. So we have to rebook that again. We already have confirmations for 2 festivals this summer, one of which we already revealed, the other is still a secret. And yeah, because it's kind of bigger, so it will be we wait for the permission of the promoter there. So yeah, but basically, yeah, we're trying to find places and venues to play as much as possible.
Already some plans for a new album?
Well, we have started 3 new songs, so not plans, but it's a beginning.
It's a beginning, of course.
Yeah, we really don't want to be one of those bands that release an album each year, because that's just not good enough. I mean, it works for some bands and it works for labels that get the money from all that. But I believe it's important to take the time to write some good music and not only just do something for doing something.
But you know, I think so that was a feature, I think, during the pandemic, because people had time. There was no possibility to play live shows. People were not on the road, so they simply had more time to release albums. And I think last year was the year with most releases, especially in the female-fronted metal scene. There were plenty of releases, and it's actually just down to the pandemic. I think it will become really more normal once all the restrictions are gone and everyone goes on tour, I think.
Hopefully. Up until recently, I was working for the 2nd biggest metal site in Bulgaria. And usually at the end of each year, each of us that's working on the site is releasing a chart of favorite albums from the year. And last year in 2021, I had really hard time of choosing 10 albums that I really liked, because it was hard. I was just listening to stuff, and 5 minutes after I finished the album, I'm like, I forget everything. Like it's not. Yeah, that's again the problem of quantity over quality. I understand why bands did it, but it's not something I support.
I actually do the same for Metal Temple. So at the end of the year, every Metal Temple writer would do the top 10 or top 20 favorite albums. And in fact, yes, it was a very tough choice. I'm almost at the end of my questions. Do you have anything, a final word to say to your fans, to the readers of Metal Temple or the viewers of Metal Temple? What's your final word?
Well, final words. Okay, let's start with the fans. I'm myself and the band as a whole. We're really thankful for each and every person that took the time to listen to the album, and supported us by listening in Spotify or ordering the album or ordering a t-shirt or whatever. This means the work to us, and we're really happy that people like what we are doing. And for people who haven't listened to our music, or in general for the public of Metal Tempo, well, I hope they will take the time to listen to us, and just to take care, to stay healthy, and to support their favorite bands and musicians, because it's really important in times like this.
Thank you so much for that amazing interview. I really had a fun time here. So, and thank you so much for the interview.
I thank you too, and until soon, I hope.